There is a Gujarati pragmatism about you. You know, here's a guy who, you know, you finished engineering, then you went to Australia to figure out things as a computer programmer, if I'm not mistaken. There you start learning editing. Editing, you start shooting wedding videos. Wedding videos, you start shooting Asaram Bapu. From there, you know, shoot sports. Then you come back, then you pitch a show that becomes India's first, you know, proper chef show in the sense that we now know as a genre. Then from there you move into, you know, films, series, television, before that non-fiction to fiction. I mean, I get a sense that you are a guy who is figuring out कि भैया आगे क्या करना है, instead of someone thinking कि एक दिन मैं बहुत बड़ा आर्टिस्ट बनूंगा.
તાજા સમાચાર તમારી ભાષામાં મેળવવા માટે ડાઉનલોડ કરો ગુજરાતી મિડડેની એપ.
You mentioned Khana, Khazana. Hansal, I must let the viewers know that you are absolutely singularly responsible for making Sanjeev Kapoor like the one bringing him to the drawing rooms and then making him like the housewife's greatest pin-up. You know, ek to he's a good-looking man in a very husband material sort of way. Plus, he cooks. The women went berserk, right?
Women went berserk in it very, like, you know, unfortunately for Sanjeev. When initially Sanjeev was rejected by the channel.
Right.
ZTV did not want him. They said, kisko le liya? And it was a risk I took. It was a punt I took. I had somebody else. I don't know if you remember, an actress called Radha Seth.
Okay. The name is very familiar.
She was anchoring the show. And I was supposed to have different chefs. But she walked out after the first episode or something. She thought I knew nothing. This is the truth. so then I took Sanjeev. I said, tere saath banata hu. I shot with Sanjeev and I just sent the episodes to Z. Kamlesh Pandey was heading Z at the time. He saw it and...
The writer Kamlesh Pandey. Right.
He was heading Z. He was the content head. So he almost murdered me. He said, if I had seen you, I would have killed you. He's screaming at me. He said, who is this?
He's a
chef. I said, he's a chef. Credibility. He said, bullshit. Humko nahi chahiye. So it was a struggle. So Sanjeev Kapoor made one. So the show struggled. You know, मैं पैर पड़ गया कि सर थोड़े एपिसोड्स निकाल दो, मेरे पैसे डूब जाएंगे, इसमें पैसे लग गए तो मैं डूब जाऊंगा.
वो आपने पैसे अपने लगाए हैं?
मैंने मतलब मेरी फ्रेंड थी, somebody I met at a bookshop called Merlin Joseph. So we became friends in a bookshop. She was looking at kitchen designs and I said, you are an interior designer. She said, no, I'm a costume designer. Both of us bullshitting each other. And we became friends. I said, so I'm shooting tomorrow and why don't you give costumes for my show? So she got her own clothes for the show for Radha said. That's why I think first Radha got pissed off. Ye kiske kapde? So Merlin's father actually, you know, she realized that I did not have enough money to shoot. So Merlin's father gave us money. He loaned us money. So she became my partner.
Right.
The company was very creatively called Mehta and Merlin Productions.
Nice. You know? Amazing. So you put in money here, you have a guy who nobody wants.
And one recipe.
He
came into the kitchen and show was shutting down. 13th episode, ZTV said कि 13 episode हो गए. It was this 13, 26, 52.
Yeah.
ये होता था. That was the numbering. So 13th episode बोला बंद हो जाएगा show. I had called another chef for that episode. And that chef didn't turn up. So I called Sanjeev. I said, Sanjeev, please save me. ये episode कर ले. ये बंद हो रहा है वैसे show. So he came, उसकी बाइक पे आ गया संजीव. तो अच्छा क्या है यार? तो I said, पालक है, पनीर है, ये है, टमाटर. This is normal. Ginger, garlic, ये वो. So he made a dish out of palak, paneer and a makhni gravy. You know, so palak, उसके अंदर paneer, made dumplings, fried them, put them in a makhni gravy, put some cream on top and called it Shaam Savera. That dish went out, the episode went out and ZTV called me and said that that time response was, there were no mobile phones.
Right.
So there was a response department. So the response department called me and said कि आके देखो आप response आया है. There was a cement bag full of letters.
Wow.
And there were letters addressed to Sanjeev Kapoor for Shaam Savera and most of them had Rakhis. So Sanjeev became the nation's brother. सारी औरतों का कि संजीव भैया मेरी वो
तो बोल रहे होंगे भैया. I'm pretty sure they were
कि भाई. But you know that the fact that recipes are a great way of reaching the country's heart.
And he's India's first celebrity chef.
He told you how to make
sense.
भाई आपको पनीर मखनी आपको आपके घर में sitting in some remote corner, you know, outside Bareilly, आप मतलब बैठ के पनीर मखनी जो आपने रेस्टोरेंट में चखी थी वो आप यहाँ घर पे बना रहे हो, एंड देयर इज नो स्ट्रेस कि यहाँ से ये लाओ वो लाओ, कुछ नहीं, घर की जो चीज़ें उससे बना रहे हो आप. You know, so he demystified the process
Restaurant cooking in
India.
Right.
And that was success, was that, you know, a lot of people made more sophisticated shows later. So my show was not about sophistication, it was about, you know,
That's true. I mean, I have to say, I think until that point, for Indians in general, some of it is true even now, कि ये घर का खाना है और ये बाहर का खाना है. So बाहर का खाना can never be घर का खाना.
now it is changed.
Right.
अब मतलब लोग बटर चिकन, you know, they compete कि मेरा बटर चिकन इसके बटर चिकन से बेटर है.
और दाल मखनी
या निहारी, you know, you make things at home. It's very easily made. You make pasta at home, you know, you make so many different types of Italian.
I mean, now of course so much has changed because of YouTube also, right? And everyone's a home chef in that sense.
And it's very democratized. उस वक्त तो मतलब संजीव कपूर actually brought in that. Now everybody, you know, Ranveer Brar acted in my show, he acted in my film, and Brar has a crazy following. You know, but he looks up to Sanjeev Kapoor. He says कि sir pioneer वो है.
Correct.
कि हम सीखे उनसे.
I think he had a great screen presence also. Yeah. It wasn't just about the cooking, right? You like this man. You just like this very man. Yeah, he's a nice man. Quintessential nice man.
So you look at Vikas Khanna, see, all of them idolize Sanjeev for what he did for chefs in general.
Gave them a face.
Gave them a face, and that they became people who went outside the kitchen. Otherwise, the job in the kitchen is pretty boring. A chef's job, you know, it's cooking in bulk.
Right.
You know, they became celebrities.
Now let's get back to you. There is, I get a sense from what all I know about you is that there is a Gujarati pragmatism about you. You know, here's a guy who, you know, you finished your engineering, then you went to Australia to figure out things as a computer programmer, if I'm not mistaken. There you start learning editing. You start shooting wedding videos, you start shooting Asaram Bapu. From there, you know, shoot sports. Then you come back, then you pitch a show that becomes India's first, you know, proper chef show in the sense that we now know as a genre. Then from there you move into, you know, films, series, television, before that non-fiction to fiction. I mean, I get a sense that you are a guy who is figuring out कि भैया आगे क्या करना है, instead of someone thinking कि एक दिन मैं बहुत बड़ा artist बनूंगा.
कभी नहीं,
है ना?
कभी नहीं. मतलब I always say कि यार वो greatness ना, आप नहीं, you don't bestow greatness upon yourself. It's a
काम करो बस.
काम करते रहो, कुछ होगा. People, you don't know what people call great. You know, Departed got an Oscar.
Of all the Scorsese films.
I mean, you know, people, taxi driver को नहीं मिला. You never know, you know, everything comes to you actually in retrospect. So, and how does it come in retrospect? When you keep working. Because the world pays you back in retrospect. That is my philosophy. The world, you don't get paid back now. The payback is much later.
Maybe sometimes when you're gone.
When you're gone, it's all, nobody wants that to happen. Of course. But that is the truth.
સબસ્ક્રાઇબ કરો ગુજરાતી મિડડે. બેલ આઇકોન પર ક્લિક કરીને મેળવો તમામ વિડીયોના ડાયરેક્ટ નોટિફિકેશન.